Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Jodhpur.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. So dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause the times is the man of truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
The man of truth.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
The man of truth.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to the man
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad to be back with you today. So, moving right along, today would be the 13th of August, 2015. So our signs we're looking at today is Leo. Strength. We have double Leo. Our sun signs in Leo, our moon signs in Leo. So Leo is all about fire. Tarot card strength. So the fire is that passion inside of us, that creativity that's flowing out. We need to be able to channel that properly. We don't want to allow our animal natures to take charge. We want to be able to use our higher self, bring the purity within ourselves together so that we can tame that energy and make it more useful. And one of the things about Leo and the lion, remember the lesson of pride? It's very important because when you got all of this male, strong, strengthful energy around, there's the tendency for the lion, that energy, to want to be boastful, prideful of what is one accomplished, because it is a sign of creativity. And so with the creativity can go the tendency to want to say, hey, look what I've done. And, whereas there's a healthy way to do that, there's also a way that is over enthusiastic of oneself. And that's where we get into trouble. Okay, so that's all we've got going on today. Leo, sun sign, moon sign. We had an aspect earlier, a couple hours ago, between the sun sign and Uranus, unexpected changes. So over the course of today, we might feel that effect of this, and we're moving into a new moon, which we will be at tomorrow. Okay, here's our wheel. So just take a look at that, the aspects we've had. The ones we're still feeling. Here's the most recent one, Sun and Uranus right here. Okay, when you click on it, it even just shows you where they are. And this is the one that's coming up next. Okay, so it's mainly just the sun sign today that we're looking at as we're moving forward. So we want to tame that animal nature within ourselves. All right, 13th of August in the Jewish calendar, it is 27 Av. 27 Av, and the daily thought for today is open your eyes. Open your eyes. This goal, when will we reach it? It was once far, but now it is near. When will we hold it in our hands? When will we open it to see? When we will open it, our eyes will see that it's already here. So that's a good one. So this goal, when will we reach it? It was once far, but now it is near. When will we hold it in our hands? When we will open our eyes to see it is already here. So it's about faith, believing that we have it, and upon believing we have it, we recognize that we do. Pretty cool. Just that slight sliver till we get to that new moon tomorrow. Space weather, solar wind 373.3 kilometers per second. Our planetary K index at the moment is quiet, but it could get unsettled. One big coronal hole, not quite affecting us. Well, wait, it says by the 16th. So over the weekend we should be feeling some effect wind from the coronal holes up here, and M-class flare possibility like yesterday's at 25%, X-class at 5. Geomagnetic storm activity is low. Looks like it's dropping down to 1% in the mid-latitudes. High latitudes, it's up as high as 15%. In the sky tonight, we are having the meteor showers. The Perseid meteor shower is going on, so as it gets darker and darker, we have an opportunity to really see that. These moonless August nights are a prime Milky Way time. After dark, the Milky Way is a great mottled glowing band running from Sagittarius in the south, up and left across Aquila, and through the big summer triangle, very high up in the east, then on down through Cassiopeia to Perseus, low in the northeast. All right, lots of cool stuff to see just looking up into the sky. And that is our cosmic weather. Gets us started so we know what kind of energy we're dealing with for today. UFO news is up next.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want?
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, I started to jump the gun there. We're not ready for the wake-up call yet, but that's coming, don't worry. Don't worry. All right, bunch of UFO stories here today. The first one takes us up to the sun. SOHO camera catches giant UFOs shooting past with the fury of 1,000 rockets. All right, there's the trail it left. That's quite a trail. This UFO is seen at the 5-second mark in the video. Video was posted by NASA and is one of their YouTube channels. The UFO was moving at incredibly fast. The photo just before it was taken is at 6:48, shows nothing, but at 7 o'clock, bam. It was already shot across the sun. Not even a comet could be capable of such speed. It would take hours and even a day for a comet to do this. This UFO is a small white dot ahead of the fiery trail. The trail is very similar to the Russian and American rocket trails, much slower in light speed. Okay. Let's take a look at this. It's only 18 seconds. Happens pretty quick. There we go. Okay. Check again. It says double check these 5-second mark. So let's look again. 5-second mark. Right there's the light. There it is, right down there. Okay. So whatever that is, pretty fast. Massive angel-like UFO seen in NASA SOHO image. Examining objects and phenomena in space such as nebula, galaxies, and comets is astronomy. It can be a serious science, but also fun hobby. There are plenty of such pictures to choose from and plenty of interesting objects out there to keep people looking. But there could be more. On National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Munzenhausen 74 YouTube Hunter reported seeing a NASA image in the sun that looks like an angel-like UFO with extensive wings. The strange objects leaves a trail suggesting a blast out of the atmosphere. Right? So we had seen this one last week. It's just another reporting of it. Here's a sighting goes back to the 13th of April 2013. Puerto Rico. Nice good video here. 3 minutes 55 seconds. So the following video was submitted to independent SCU researchers in November 2013 by an official source. Okay, so this is nice because of the official source that it is. I'm going to leave that to you because it's 3 minutes 55 seconds. There's our UFO. Alright, this one is kind of trippy here. This is a little alien dude, it looks like. Got the big black eyes, nose, mouth. Kind of looks like one of those Stretch Armstrong dolls. Remember those? There it is, close up. Now, is this real or is this fake? This strange creature has so many human-like features. It has to be an alien. Its eyes are dark to protect it from the sunlight, so this is proof it prefers to be underground than above. Some alien species are known to be under 12 inches tall. For instance, in Aurora, Texas, on April 17th, a small UFO crashed into a windmill. The farmer found the pilot's body among the wreckage. It was very small, but semi-human in appearance and buried in the local cemetery. This is a bizarre and shocking incident has been reported from Jodhpur, where a human-like creature has been found beneath the ground. The incident took place in Jodhpur's Bawadi village, where the villagers were digging tube well to fetch water. Much to their surprise, they found this human-like organism. According to reports and as seen in this picture, which went viral on social media, the creature looks like a small human with a little bit like an alien. The man is seen posing with the creature in the picture. Okay, so kind of weird. What do you think this is? What do you think this is? Okay, one last story here for the UFO news today. It says, how could we detect an alien apocalypse from Earth? It's generally assumed that we will eventually find signs of life in the galaxy, but rarely do we consider searching for advanced civilizations that have destroyed themselves. Here's how we could do it, and what to search for dead aliens could tell us about our own future. Typically, astrobiologists and SETI enthusiasts are in the business of searching for signs of active extraterrestrial civilizations, proposed signatures that could be detected by astronomical instruments on Earth. They include radio and optical signals, megascale engineering objects such as Dyson spheres, radiating in the far infrared, artificial illumination, and abnormal levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide suggesting a post-industrial age civilization. But a new study by a research team from Cornell University's Carl Sagan Institute suggests that we should look for signs of alien civilization that have destroyed themselves. It would be a grim task, but the ability to detect extinct civilizations would not only tell us something about the prospect of intelligent life in the galaxy, but it might also tell us something about our own fate as well. Redefining the Drake equation. In a way, it doesn't really matter if we have evidence for living or extinct life, says study co-author Jack O'Malley, James. Finding evidence for a civilization that has destroyed itself still gives us evidence that there is life out there. Furthermore, looking for the kind of destructive events that could only be caused by intelligent life tells us something about whether intelligent life is out there. Indeed, the ability to quantify the numbers of self-destructive civilizations across the Milky Way would have significant influence on a number we plug into the Drake equation, the famous formula that seeks to predict how many communicable alien civilizations exist in the galaxy. In addition, estimating such variables as the number of stars and planets, the Drake equation also requires us to quantify the fraction of a planet's life that go on to develop intelligent life, the fraction of civilizations that emit detectable signs of existence into space, and the length of time the civilizations release these signals. Consequently, it's crucial for astrobiologists to understand the frequency at which civilizations emerge and destroy themselves. It would tell us something about these civilization lifetime term, O'Malley James told I09. If a lot of self-destructive civilizations were found, it would suggest short civilization lifetimes are common. If we don't find any, it could mean that civilization lifetimes are long, but it could also mean that the emergence of intelligent life is rare, or that intelligent life deliberately makes its presence. Using our planet and our own civilization as a blueprint, O'Malley James, along with colleague Adam Stevens and Duncan Rogan contemplated several scenarios in which humanity could plausibly destroy itself. Each of the cataclysmic and endgames considered resulted in some form of signature that could be probed by the astronomers here on Earth. The researchers also considered the extreme distances involved and the limited time frames for detecting certain signatures. There are many existential risks confronting humanity. The researchers limited their choice of scenarios to those that are self-inflicted, technologically plausible, and the result of total elimination of a civilization. The team came up with 4 scenarios: complete nuclear, mutually assured destruction, a biological or chemical agent assigned to kill either human species, all animals, all eukaryotes, or all living things, a technical disaster such as a gray goo scenario, or excessive pollution of the star, planet, or interplanetary environment. All right, so it gets into really in depth about each one of those. Okay, so just some interesting points to look at in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. That is our UFO news for the moment, for today. I'm going to jump away, and when I come back, we're going to get into some more stuff. Stay tuned.
These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, Big Brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What if I land and two if I see? And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. You know, people are waking up. You can see it more. I see it more because I've been watching for a while. I know you've been watching for a while. But they are waking up. Donald Trump, he seems to have awakened some sort of spirit in people. I read the posts and hear comments about Trump saying he's not the savior, he's got this problem and this problem. You know what? we're not really looking for a savior, are we? We're looking for someone to help us solve some of the problems we have. One of the problems we have, the biggest problem we probably have here in America, is our economic problem. We're trillions of dollars in debt. So it seems like the first thing that we need to solve is we need to stop the bleeding. And who's best to do that but someone that's not beholden to the system, that knows how to do business. If we can do that, we can get that started, and we take care of our business here, that'll be a big step in allowing us to be able to behave differently in the world. Because imagine what a country would be like if we were at a zero balance. Imagine what life would be like right now. We'd have a different way of looking at things. We'd look at things in a more positive manner because we know that we're not owing, we're not in the hole, and we'd move forward in a different way. So I think there's some opportunities that are there. We have to be careful with anything and anyone not to give our power away. It's not about giving our power away to a president, to an organization, a group. It's about finding a group that's going to help us to accomplish what it is we're trying to do. When you listen to the various speakers and the candidates, you could see there's a lot of really good ideas out there. So if they could all find a way to work together to bring these ideas forward, that would be awesome. We'll see how it goes, if they're going to keep fighting with each other or not. You know, Ben Carson, he's out there. He has some really intelligent things to say, and that's what one would expect, him being a doctor, a surgeon, such as he is. So it's good to see that, you know, we're putting people forward that are intellectually up there on the charts, that are economically up there. If we're going to be great again, we need to put great people in positions to assist us, and that's what's going on. And look what's going on then with the Hillary thing, how that has come into light. We'll see how it plays out, if Congress is going to go along with this, and the Department of Justice and all of the other agencies, because for a long while we all know they've been part of the cover-up. So we'll see. We shall see. But we are waking up more and more, more and more. As they say, the sleeping giant is slowly awakening. All right, this is an interesting story here. It says 3D printed brain tissue. 3D printed brain tissue. Researchers in Australia have developed a new way of printing 3D structures that closely resemble layer brain tissue. In the latest effort to build an artificial laboratory model of the brain, Australian researchers have developed a novel method for constructing layer biological structures that looks just like cerebral cortex tissue using handheld 3D printer. Neuroscientists rarely get the opportunity to study human brain directly, and so to work on cells or tissue slices that have been dissected from animals and grown in petri dishes. These in vitro methods are useful for studying development and processes such as neurodegeneration and cell-to-cell signaling, but are severely limited in what they do not resemble the complex three-dimensional structure of the brain. To overcome these obstacles, Rodrigo Lozano of the University of Wollongong in Australia and his colleagues used 3D printing, a manufacturing process that involves creating three-dimensional objects by layering down successive layers of material one on top of the other. The researchers harvested immature cortical neurons from embryonic mice and encapsulated them within a neutral gel or gum polymer hydrogel to create bioink cell suspension. As well as being cheap and biocompatible, gel and gum protects the cells it encapsulates. It's porous enough for them to exchange nutrients and waste materials with the surrounding growth medium and solidifies effectively at room temperature. Lozano and his colleagues fabricated the brain tissue with a simple handheld 3D printer and using scanning electron microscopy to probe the internal structure of the printed structures, and fluorescent antibody staining combined with confocal microscopy to examine the cells within them. This revealed that the hydrogel supported the survival and attachment of the neurons, allowing them to grow and extend their fibers over distances of several hundred microns. so that 5 days later they had the appearance and characteristics of mature cortical cells that had formed layering structures resembling the cerebral cortex. Recently, several groups have succeeded in growing artificial miniature models of the brain called cerebral organoids, but these can only grow about 4 millimeters in diameter because they lack any organized blood supply, and because they self-assemble from stem cells, do not lend themselves to being examined in any detail. The new method is therefore something of an advance on this, but Lozano and his colleagues emphasize that it was not developed in order to grow replacement brain parts in the lab. Rather, it could offer researchers a cheap new method for testing drugs and studying nerve cell behavior, injury, and disease. So very interesting what science is doing. Very, very interesting. All right, let's get over to our lesson here. So you understanding what we're doing here with this dream spell? Okay, the whole idea with the dream spell, just a little fresher, it's a way of looking at time. Everything around us is energy. All of this energy is intelligent energy. And as we look at this energy and we interact with it, we are able to decipher information from it. That's what synchronicity is. It's when we are moving in accord with the energy around us and everything is synchronizing. When it's synchronizing, we can look at this energy and we can learn from it. And this system here, this dream spell system, is a system of looking at energy, and the basis behind the system is the sun and the moon. I mean, you can't get any more natural than that. So the sun is represented here by 20 symbols. The reason it's 20 symbols is the whole idea is that during the course of a year, which is 365 days, there are 20 different frequencies that this sun gives out. And so these are the 20 symbols that are there. During the same year, the moon also goes through phases, and it goes through 13 phases. So it's represented in this system here by 13 tones. And so you have the symbol of the Zolkin, which is the primary symbol, and that's this symbol right here. Okay, this is the Zolkin. See, we have the 13 columns, and across the top you see the numbers 1 through 13, and then down the side the 20 frequencies, the 20 solar. So we've got the sun and the moon are represented in this grid. The sun and the moon. And as you look at this grid, counting from the top to the bottom, which is the way you do it, each and every one of these squares takes on a unique name. And that name is a combination of the moon and the sun. And there's different layers that occur within this, and different cycles that occur. So one of the cycles is a cycle that each one of these columns is represented by the number on top. So you have the column number 1, column 2, column 3, and so on. But another cycle is that within this, there are cycles of 13. So within this first column, even though the whole column in one cycle is just the number 1, on another cycle, it changes number every time, up to 13, and then it starts its count over again. So this column number 1 is made up of 20 different numbers that are beginning a process of a cycle. And then it continues on up at the top. So this cycle of 1 through 13, 1 through 13, 1 through 13 happens 20 times. And the end of it is right down here. So every day has a unique name. So the first day would be the 1 dragon. And the first tone is called the magnetic tone. So the first one would be the magnetic dragon. Then we go down to the next square underneath here. And even though we're in the first column, we're still counting the cycles of 13. And so we go to number 2, which is the lunar tone. And here we have the wind, so it's the lunar wind. And then the third tone is the electric tone, and it's the electric night. And then the fourth tone is the self-existing tone, and that's the self-existing seed. And these four are also like these four. Same thing. Because the numbers all mean the same thing. This one here means the same as this one here. This 2 is the same as this 2. The only difference is you've got this 2, all this 2 here is just a lot more information about this little one. Okay? So this is how information in esoteric science is really organized. It packs a lot of information in a symbol or an idea, and then it repeats it over and over. So you can look at the number 1, and whether it's the tarot cards, tarot card number 1, whether it's the I Ching, the first one, whether it's straight numerology, the number 1, whether it's in the Tzolk'in and it's the first tone, or the first seal, whatever it is, 1 is 1 is 1 is 1 is 1 all across the board, just like 2s and 3s. But each one you're getting a different bit of information. Like in the tarot cards, let's say you lay out a spread and you've got 13 cards. Well, ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to add those all together to get a single number. And I like to look at it as the single number you get is the cover of the book, and then everything else are the pages inside, because you're able to summarize in one symbol what that is. And that's what's going on in esoteric science. There's a lot of symbology and a lot of symbols that hold information but also mean the same as others. And if we can look at things in that way and understand the cycles within cycles, that really helps to understand. So as you look at the ones, ones always mean the same thing, but you're in a cycle that applies a little bit something different to it. And then these green ones right here are the times where there's an intersection between the similar. So here we have an intersection between the first column and the first row, the second column, the second row, the third column, the third row, the fourth column, the fourth row, the fifth column, and the sixth column. That's what these are. But when it gets here, there's 13 columns. The first 6 and the last 6 are reflections of each other. That's why you look at these symbols here, and these are called galactic activation portal days. They're days where that intersection occurs. And so these first 6 rows and columns reflect the same as these, with this pillar right in the middle being that balancing point. If you think of this like a merry-go-round, imagine this is like that room in the middle where you go in the control room in there. And everything's moving around it. Time is moving around this central column, the central pillar, the central point. And it's not a defined point, it's just like a middle point of energy. Okay? And we took a look at understanding that this system is different from the system that we follow in that it's equal. Here we have 4 equal weeks. Each one is 7 days. 4 weeks, 7 days. So when you go through the entire system, there's balance. In the Gregorian system, there isn't balance, because we go from 31 days to 28 or 29 days to 31 to 30. So we're bouncing back and forth. But all of these extra days past 28 days, if you take those and you look at them, they add up to one extra month of 29 days. So the 13th month is actually hidden within this system. Okay, and that brings us over to looking at the various tones. Okay, each of the moon has a tone, and those tones are various powers or energies. Just think, energy, because everything is energy, and energy around us is moving. Energy has a sound to it. It has a vibration. And so if we tune in to what that is, that's the whole idea. We're tuning in to the music of the universe that is playing around us. We're getting in tune with it. Okay? So here we have the magnetic tone, the lunar tone, the self-existing tone, electric self-existing, and each one of these has a particular essence, power, action. So the magnetic tone, the first one, or the number 1, It has purpose. It unifies. It attracts. And the tarot card number 1 is the magician, who's focusing, bringing things together, attracting things. Okay. 1 is the beginning of things. So they all mean the same. And all of this energy, these 13 tones, are organized in systems of 1 through 13. And these 1 through 13 can be laid out in a pattern that looks like this. And it's called a wave spell. And there are 4 wave spells grouped together. And then 4 wave spells in the next group, and then 4 more, and then 4 more. Okay, so this brings us to this next lesson here. Lesson 6, 13 in the body. The 13-unit wave spell that we just talked about is coded into our body. The most primary teaching of number occurs in the 13 articulations of the movable joints of the body. 2 ankles, 2 knees, 2 hips, 2 shoulders, 2 elbows, 2 wrists, and the 13th at the neck. This 13th articulation between the body and the head is the most significant, for this is where lies our higher intellectual operating system, the holo mind perceiver. Memorize these 13 in your body, just as you memorize the 20 solar seals. Okay, so starting with the right side here, down by the right foot, at that ankle, we've got the magnetic tone, tone number 1. Then we go up to the knee, the lunar tone. Up to the hip, the electric tone. Then from the hip, jumps across over, self-existing tone in the wrist. Up to the elbow, the overtone. Up to the shoulder, the rhythmic. Right to the middle, at the neck, the resonant. Galactic, left shoulder. Left elbow, solar. Planetary, left wrist. Jumping over to the hip is the spectral. The crystal at the knee, and finally the cosmic at the left. That way you could see it's like an electrical circuit. Okay? Everything is energy, just one big electrical circuit of energy moving all over the place. And this energy is moving through us. Okay? And imagine now overlay this over here, and almost you can see some sort of pattern in there as well. To understand the patterns of the wave spell, color this Zolkin graphic according to the wave spell sequence. You will need a red, white, blue, yellow colored pencil. Color the wave spell in the Zolkin in the following sequence. Red, white, blue, yellow. Okay. And when we do, here's an example of that. We've already seen that. There's the red, white, blue, yellow, and here we go. Red, white, blue, yellow, red, white, blue, yellow, red, white, blue, yellow, red, white, blue, yellow, red, white, blue, yellow. Okay? So that's what it looks like to understand that pattern. Okay? Making sense? So that is a good basics. That's 6 lessons now. You know, as things get repeated over and over, it's an opportunity to learn even more about these things. And I'm still learning about it, and I've been studying this and working with this system for quite some time. So it's awesome because it's not a system that ends because it's connected to who we are. It's about looking at energy around us. You know, one thing I find interesting in regards to the idea of tone is I was thinking, you know, about some of the things that's going on. I know I keep talking about the Donald Trump experience that's taking place right now. I see things more from a psychological standpoint. That's the way what I'm seeing when I look at things. And I see that the people of this country are ready for a change. They're tired of the way things are, and so a change is presented. There's something refreshing being presented. And if you noticed, the issue that was going on a psychological standpoint is others were not liking his tone because they're all moving on a different tone. If you think of tone as simply an energy, as we're talking about, there's one tone, one frequency that's going on between all of these politicians. Suddenly he comes in there and his tone is different because he's vibrating on a different frequency, different tone. And that's what the big shakeup is. And so we can look at the little events and say, yeah, he's complaining about this and that and the tone of this, his words. It's not about the little things. It's about the overall tone and vibration that he's putting forward, and what he's about is a different vibration. And so now as you listen, you hear others are starting to come along and play part of his tone, following that, because you hear others saying that, yes, what he's saying is accurate. We do need to stop some of the political correctness that's going on. We do need to focus on being great again. So the tone is changing, and the tone is changing because the people are getting on board with their own inner truths, because people ultimately want to be free, and people want to speak forward and speak their mind and be courageous. But sometimes we become frightened, and we need others to step up and say the things that we're thinking. And as soon as somebody says the thing that we're thinking about, it gives us or others the courage to be able to step forward. So one at a time, that's okay if that's what it takes. But little by little, our country is waking up. And it's not about politics. It's about looking at the psychology of what's taking place in the world and understanding things from that perspective. Okay? At least that's the way I look at it, and when I do that, it seems to make a lot of sense for myself. All right, this is an article at In5D by Greg Prescott. It is called Scientific Proof That Our DNA is Changing. Imagine being able to activate your dormant junk DNA. In recent news, scientists and geneticists have believed or discovered 3 or 4 strands in DNA in human cells, while some geneticists believe we may soon evolve to a 12-strand DNA. To those who may dismiss this theory, an article entitled Spontaneous Evolution Has Arrived. A child was recently born with a 3-strand DNA in England. Brave toddler Alfie Clamp stuns doctors after being born with an extra strand of DNA. A British toddler has become the first person in the world to be born with an extra strand in his DNA, in a condition so rare that doctors don't even know its name. Alfie Clamp from Warwickshire, North England, has a 7th chromosome which has an extra arm. Dr. Berenice Fox is a holistic practitioner of the Avalon Wellness Center in Mount Shasta, California. In an interview with Patricia Resch, Dr. Fox stated the following: what are the changes that are happening at this time on the planet, and how are our bodies being affected? It says there are major changes, mutations that haven't occurred according to geneticists since the time we supposedly came out of the water. Several years ago in Mexico City, there was a convention of geneticists from around the world, and the main topic was DNA change. We are making an evolutionary change. We don't know what we are changing into. Well, how is our DNA changing? It says everyone has a double helix of DNA. What we are finding is that there are other helixes that are being formed. In the double helix, there are 2 strands of DNA coiled into a spiral. It is my understanding that we will be developing 12 helixes. During this time, which seems to have started maybe 5 to 20 years ago, we have been mutating. This is the scientific explanation. It is a mutation of our species into something for which the end result is not yet known. The changes are not known publicly because the scientific community feels it would frighten the population. However, people are changing at the cellular level. I am working with 3 children right now who have 3 DNA helixes. Most people know I feel this. Most people know and feel this. Many religions have talked about the change and know it will come in different ways. We know it is a positive mutation, even though physically, mentally, and emotionally it can be misunderstood and frightening. Are these children displaying any characteristics different from other children? It says these are children who can move objects across the room just by concentrating on them, or they can fill glasses of water just by looking at them. They're telepathic. You would almost think by knowing these children that they are half angelic or superhuman, but they're not. I think that they are what we are growing into during the next few decades. He says, do you think all of this is going to happen? He says, it seems like most people who were born before 1940 have not been able to make the shift, but have initiated something into the next generation that gives them the capacity to form another helix within our lifetimes. Our immune and endocrine systems are the most evident of these changes. That is one of the reasons I work with research in immunological testing and therapy. Some adults I have tested actually do have another DNA helix forming. Some are even getting their third. These people are going through a lot of major shifts in their consciousness and physical bodies because it is all one. In my opinion, the earth and everyone here is raising its vibration. Many of the children born have bodies that are magnetically lighter. Okay, you see there's a lot more to this article here. I'm going to go to the very end. It says, we know today that man essentially is a being of light, and that modern science of photobiology is presently proving this. In terms of healing, the implications are immense. We now know, for example, that quanta of light can initiate or arrest cascade-like reactions in the cells, and that genetic cellular damage can be virtually repaired within hours by faint beams of light. We are still on the threshold of fully understanding the complex relationship between light and life, but we can now say emphatically that the function of our entire metabolism is dependent on light. Dr. Fritz Albert Popp. Right? So, things are changing, definitely, in many, many ways, and that is good because we've been waiting for this change. But the saying over and over is, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. So, there you have it. We are the ones. All right, channeled message for today comes to us from Gaia. Here we go.
From Gaia, Mother Earth.
August 12th, 2015, by Laura Ashley.
Dear humans, we just had the Lions Gate portal open on August 8th, 2015. The day the portal opened, lot of light came in. It was very transforming energy indeed. Many of you may have felt crazy, perhaps some experience anger and mood swings and very sleepy for days. It was a big release of old energy, it was a major clean-up. Lot of light was coming in. Light is information. The portal was also to help you become more grounded. Grounded in your own truth. All the answers are within you. You must believe in yourself. Believe is such a strong word. It's more than speaking. It must be felt in the heart. This portal opening is helping you access a lot of wisdom from your very own soul. Remember, this is not the lifetime you learn new things, it is the lifetime you remember everything you have ever been taught. Each one of you carries the blueprint of this universe in your heart. Everything in life is exactly where it's supposed to be. Everything has purpose. Your pain has purpose. Everything has a message to it. You just got to listen and you will listen. Everyone is welcome here. I am Gaia, your divine mother, the mother of all things. I am the balance between darkness and light. I gave birth to darkness. Not because I am an evil being, but because darkness has its very purpose. You learn a lot of darkness. You discover more of your light during your darkest moments. Darkness brings you closer to God. Through the pain you discover the message. There is no other place to be but here, and you will all learn why you are here. I welcome all types of souls here. This is the place for you to evolve and expand your consciousness. You are light and you all came from light. The most thing the soul craves is the very oneness it had in the very beginning with Prime Creator. Your ego is a tool. You must mother it. It was a gift from God, you just need to learn how to use it. You are never alone. You are cherished by many beings who love you and honor you. We want you to be here. We want to watch you expand your consciousness. You are a vessel of divine love, you are bringing light into earth each day. You are not mind-controlled, you control your own mind, your own thoughts. Your emotions are messages. Earth speaks in thousands of ways, and nature has sounds that is playing music for you all day. Go outside and look around, you see the beauty and all is beautiful. I am not her children, I don't feel you have abandoned me in any way. I feel my children every day. You are my reason why I want to be here. I could destroy this planet in seconds if I wished. My love is so deep for my children that words could never describe. I'm with you every step of the way. You are not alone in this ascension. I am awakening with you all. We are here together as one as we all have been. We are all connected. I feel everything humanity is facing. I feel the animals. I feel the trees, the ground, the sky, I feel the ocean, rivers, I feel Father Earth. I feel everything. You will never be alone. Much love, dear ones. Until next time.
Alright, that was a good message, kind of reminding us what we, are aware of, the transition we're going through, the change, that it's not about, being left alone, that the earth is working with us, not against us. So, alright, Warrior of Light. Today we're on page 84. The Warrior of Light has the sword in his hands. He is the one who decides what he will do and what he will never do. There are moments when life leads him into a crisis. He is separated from things he has always loved. It is then that the warrior reflects. He checks that he is fulfilling God's will or if he is merely acting selfishly. If this separation is really part of his path, then he accepts without complaint. If, however, such a separation was provoked by someone else's perverse actions, then he is implacable in his response. The warrior possesses both force and forgiveness. He can use both with equal skill. Very nice. And our meditation for today, so go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale. And another deep breath. And exhale again. Now imagine the earth. And imagine sitting upon the earth. And just feel the earth beneath you. Feel the dirt, the grass. Smell the flowers that are around. Just immerse all of your senses in the earth. And as you feel this connection, you feel the love that the earth has for each and every one of us. And so you send love back down into earth, knowing that earth is a living, breathing being just like we are. And as we send this love into the earth, we feel even more in connection with the planet. And so we walk upon this earth, and as we walk and remain tuned in to the vibration of the earth, we find ourselves moving along a path almost magically. And we feel this synchronicity, and it lets us know we are doing and moving in the right way. So as we move through the world today, our only focus is to be in sync with nature around us, to tune in to nature, so we can hear and see what is truly around us and decipher reality from the illusion. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey of exploring life, nature, the energy around us. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's it for today. Thanks for being here yet again. Sometimes I feel like a broken record just repeating the same thing over and over. It's energy. It's all about energy. It's always been about energy. And how we use the energy makes all the difference in the world. So all of these tools around us, the astrologies, the Mayan systems, whatever else we're doing, the meditations, the chakras, it's all about understanding ways to work with the energy that we're a part of. That's it. We don't give our power over to anything. We simply learn to work with the tools available to us. That's it. Inside is all we need to know, my friends. That's what all the spiritual books tell us. So let's just keep doing the work. Keep looking at the Mayan system. As you do, you'll find that all of the synchronicity really does make more and more sense. If you have any questions, please send me your emails, firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. Make a comment on this video, like the videos, subscribe. Any and all of those things are awesome. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.